Oh, what is up, men? It is Sunday, so we're about to go for a grocery shop because I know how hard it is to find time to want to meal prep, especially while trying to lose weight, especially if you've got a really busy damn schedule. So if you struggle with like having low energy, if you struggle with finding time to be able to meal prep and know exactly what you need to eat, because I know that's something that I struggled with. I'd always go to the supermarket and be like, fuck, I don't actually know exactly what I need to be eating, but this grocery haul has allowed me to lose 40 pounds, only have to eat twice per day to do it. All this bullshit that you need to eat like 4 or 5, 6 times a day, getting protein, all of it's bullshit. You really only need to be eating like 2 or 3 times a day with good, whole, proper foods is what I've found to be the most effective, and that way you don't have to fucking try meal prep or think about it too often. It's literally 2 meals per day and you can split it up into 3 as well. This way, allowed me to lose 40 pounds and really do feel energized throughout the whole entirety of the day. So it's really good for time management. It's really good. And really one key thing is it allows you to actually channel your mind to want to eat the whole foods, to want to eat the good foods, because it's a lot easier to choose the comfort, to choose the crap. But this way, because it doesn't take long to meal prep it, this way you know that it actually is going to fuel you. You don't want to eat the crap anymore. So I'm going to walk you through step by step the grocery haul, and then at the end I've got a very good surprise for you, which is how you can implement it into your own life. Beautiful day here, but one thing that I realize is that I can't do for you is actually go to the grocery store for you and buy the foods. I can't channel your mind to do that for you, but one thing that I need you to realize is that I'm not gonna give you any special food, but what I am gonna give you is every single solitary trick in my book to make sure that you actually make the right choice, right? And for example, I wrote down everything that I need on a piece of paper, right? It's like an older person thing to do. Most people write it down on their phones, but I like to do it on here now. And also, the other thing is, don't ever come here when you're fucking hungry. Now, because I'm about to show you exactly what you need to be eating, right? What I ate when losing the 40 pounds, it really takes all the guessing game out of it for you. But like I said, I can't come in and buy the food for you. I can't make the right choice for you. But first off, what we're gonna be getting is 6 avocados for myself. And like I said at the end of the video, I'm gonna break it down how you can use it in your own life based on your height, based on your weight, and channeling your mind to be able to do that as well. But we're gonna have six avocados. That is really high healthy fats, which will go with lunch. And if you're really looking to take your physique to that next level, like really actually start fucking hammering away at it, not just half-assing it like most people do, bananas are gonna be one of your best pre-workout snacks, right? Literally one of your best. And the way that we do that is we won't eat them in the morning, or eat them sort of like around lunchtime as well. That way you don't get any brain fog either, right? So that way it's perfect. And the way that I structure this for you and how you can structure it, and I'm going to be showing you, is that we want to be making sure we're not getting brain fog in the morning, but then when the afternoon comes around, we're still getting a high amount of carbs to making sure you're getting your fucking physique at absolutely peak top level. So we have sweet potato. I grab about 50 ounces of this, but the hack here is with sweet potato, you can also use normal potato if you want. But when you're at the supermarket, bag it into the bags that you want. So that way when you get home, you don't even have to think about it. What I like to do is I'll put 2 days worth of sweet potato into one bag. That way when you get home, you can just cut it in half for the days that you want to be using it. But grab about 50 ounces, or you'll see at the end how much you need. This really high carb sauce that we're going to be having for lunch and as an after workout meal. Next up we have 70 eggs. Why? Because eggs have extremely good, high, healthy, natural fats, right? We don't want to get our fats from like shitty sources. And eggs, they're a natural source and they have really high protein. So they can take your physique to the next level. But the good thing about the healthy fats, especially when they're natural, is they'll keep our testosterone nice and high as men, especially when we're trying to build muscle. Obviously we want to keep the testosterone nice and high. That's how we regulate our hormones. A lot of people say, oh, eggs are really bad for you, and it's bullshit. Eggs and red meat they are literally what's gonna make your testosterone fucking skyrocket, and that's why I feel so damn energized all the time, right? So eggs, absolute game changer. They're gonna go with our post-workout meal and our pre-workout meal. Now, I'm sure you heard everyone and their dog talking about how chicken's got the most protein out of all the meats and it's the best protein source, and it is. But the bad thing about chicken is it's got no micronutrients in it, right? So we need micronutrients, which is why we'll get some mixed vegetables as well. But the reason that I do it here, instead of having it in the like pre-made little packets, is that when you're here, you can tell them exactly how much you want. So I split these into 2 lots of 25-ounce bags. That way, the second half of the week, I can freeze this bag and then I can pull it out later in the week, knowing that the meat's still gonna be good, and you only have to meal prep twice that way. That way you can use the other bag in the first 3 days of the week for your Monday, your Tuesday, and your Wednesday. And then I grab tonight's one in a separate bag as well. That way I know exactly I've got the meat ready to go for tonight. I've got the next 3 days sorted, and then I've got the 3 days after that sorted that we can freeze, making sure the chicken doesn't go off. I literally do the exact same thing with red meat, but red meat is going to be your absolute cornerstone to build a fucking unreal physique. Why? Because it's got extremely high micronutrients in it, as well as being extremely high in protein. That way it's going to increase your testosterone. It's going to keep you energized. It's going to keep you fueled throughout the day. And I literally do the exact same thing. 25 ounces in one bag, 25 ounces in another bag, and then a small amount for tonight's dinner in the other bag as well. Probably about 7 or 8 ounces in another small bag. But if you get red meat, people say, oh, red meat and eggs, you shouldn't eat them. It's bullshit. Red meat and eggs is what we should be eating as men. It's exactly how I fucking feel so energized, man, right? So get your red meat, and literally, game changer, right? You can swap your chicken for mince if you want. I just prefer to get steak. I think steak's absolutely phenomenal, right? But you can get grass-fed mince as well, right? As long as it's about 90-10 or 93-07. But I just prefer lean cuts of steak. Oh my God, absolute beautiful to have with lunch. A lot of people underestimate how powerful mixed vegetables are. Not just like because they're like vegetables and they're good for you. I mean like in terms of like how filling they are, how packed with micronutrients they are, how genuinely beneficial they are, right? If you put them with dinner straight after your workout with your chicken, that I will show you how to do as well, if you can do that, because the chicken doesn't have the micronutrients that you need, that way the mixed vegetables, they give you the micronutrients. That way you're going to be increasing your testosterone and feeling fucking energized when you go like to wake up the next morning. That's how I fuel at night, right? I fuel late at night, so that way I don't have to eat in the morning. I'm packed with micronutrients after having an awesome sleep, and then you literally don't have to eat until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That is exactly how I structure it, right? So mixed vegetables, incredible, not just because, oh, they're vegetables. No, because they actually fill you up, because they make you feel so damn good. We've got low-fat yogurt, which is gonna go with our breakfast and our dessert, but normally they have a flavored one. Feel free to go hard on a flavored one. Just any low-fat yogurt will absolutely make you feel incredible, and there's an extreme amount of protein in here as well. I would have loved to get a flavored one, but they didn't have one, unfortunately, so I'm just gonna have to deal with this one, but it's gonna be absolutely incredible to go with our oats and go with our dessert as well. I know you're seeing a lot of my face, but I'm not gonna be one of those weirdos that sets up a tripod in the middle of a damn supermarket. But next we have oats, and literally the most satiating, the best food that I possibly recommend to stay full over a long period of time. And it's gonna be extremely good to build your physique. Why? Because if we eat this at the right time before our workouts, right? Normally like about an hour and a half, this is kind of a long lasting carb, right? So you can eat this earlier if you want. It'll last long enough to be in your workouts. But the best option is to eat about an hour and a half before your workouts. So this will go with our first meal at about 12 or 2 o'clock, somewhere around that time as well. It'll satiate you for so damn long, and they taste incredible with the right protein powder as well, especially vanilla flavor. That's my favorite at the moment. But other than that, that's why I get oats, because they're filling. It's really, really easy to make. Takes about 5 minutes, right, to make. You can have a different variation. You can have like some sort of protein bowl, right, with bananas, stuff like that. You can have it as a smoothie, or you can also have it as protein pancakes. Sometimes I do protein pancakes with some of the eggs that I bought, right? There's unlimited options. Well, not unlimited, but protein oats, game changer, game changer. And I'm pretty sure it's not the last but not least thing on the menu, and that is peanut butter. Why? For good healthy fats. Now, if you can get natural peanut butter, I would highly recommend it, but they don't seem to have it here, unfortunately. So I would recommend definitely getting the natural version if you can of peanut butter, but if you can't, then, well, this is going to be the 10% that I always talk about that I really shouldn't eat, but I do. I genuinely like the taste of it. It's going to be perfect to go with dessert, with our protein yogurt, with our protein oats, with our protein powder, and then you put this on top with the banana. Oh my God, it tastes literally insane. And good healthy fats keep our testosterone nice and high while we're losing the weight as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I believe I'll have to check my notebook, but that's pretty much it, I believe, for the food. I tricked you, I lied. There's also rice. You got two options that are best for cutting: jasmine rice or basmati rice, right? Whatever white rice you can get your hands on is going to be an extremely filling, high carb source as well, that we're going to be having with lunch as our pre-workout meal. So we're really trying to stack as much high carb food as we can for our lunch and as our pre-workout meal, right? So if we don't eat throughout the whole morning, which I'll show you how I structure my days to make sure that we don't eat in the morning so there's no brain fog, then when we finally do eat, we want to mix long-lasting carbs and quick carbs as well, so that way our workouts are absolutely phenomenal and you can be the most productive that you can possibly be in the morning. That's exactly how I structure my days, but I'll show you that when we get home. All right, gentlemen, we are home now, and literally I have done all the heavy lifting for you. I've shown you exactly what foods you need to be eating, and I've actually even come in here and calculated it based on your specific height and your specific weight. So it goes right up from 6'6", right down to 5'6", and right from 240 pounds down to 160 pounds. So I'm covering pretty much every single solitary basis, right? Because I genuinely want you to feel how I feel. I genuinely want you to get the results. Like, I feel fucking insane. Like, eating good quality foods and actually getting in shape was the number one thing that completely changed my life. And I want you to experience it as well, which is why I've done it for you. This is all, like, you can't fail. You will lose 20 pounds in 90 days if you follow this. I've calculated specifically, right? I want you to get results, right? I've even put on workout protocols here. But first, when you come in here, this will be in the description, right? So you're going to come up here, click file, and then make a copy. Then you literally get your own copy. But work out 4 to 5 times per week, whatever you have time for. 4 is absolutely fine. I just like to add in a 5th day so I can get some extra growth in there. But we're going to train at maximum intensity for 45 to 60 minutes is all it takes genuinely when done right. Train each muscle group at least once, and then have 15 to 30 minutes of low intensity, steady state cardio. That's just walking on the treadmill or on the Stairmaster at pretty low frequency, right? And then, or it could be going on a walk or even being on the bike, right? And when you see this, I would have added in some little notes for you to go with here. But come in here, pick your weight, height, and goal for the next 90 days, right? So these are all down here for you to follow. But if none of these work, right, and you aren't losing the weight that you want to lose, I've put in here how you can come back and fix all of these, right? This 100% should work, but if you hit a plateau, for example, after like 45 days, you should be able to come back up in here into the resource and literally do exactly what I've told you to do in here, right? If your weight doesn't change from week 1 to week 2, cut your carbs down, all of it, it's all here. You should not fail. If you fail, then like you're doing something wrong. Right, so I put in weekly grocery shop for 6'2" to 6'6", 240 pounds to 220 pounds, and I put in the calorie goal, the weekly calorie goal, literally everything. Now, obviously, if you're a 6 foot, you're not quite a 6 foot male, 240 pounds, like I've averaged it. Use your brain. If you're 6'2" or 6'6" and 235 pounds, if you just stay within 10% of this, you're going to see results, right? And literally, I've done this all the way through. 220 pounds down to 200 pounds, want to lose 20 pounds there, 6'2" to 6'6". Literally, I've done it for every single solitary one. Now, here, I've gone down to 160 pounds, and then I start again, right? 5'10" to 6'2". Now again, if you are 5'10" and you aren't the average of 6 feet, right? It doesn't matter. If you're 5'10" or 5'11" or 6'1", not exactly 240 pounds. If you're 233 pounds, for example, this still applies, right? So come in here. This literally is the fucking blueprint. 200 pounds down to 180 pounds, right? For 5'10" to 6'2". Then 180 down to 160. And then there's 5'6" to 5'10". The exact same thing. 240 down to 220, right? Then 220 down to 200. Then 200 down to 180. Literally, like, I'm happy about this. I'm happy with myself about this resource, because if you do it and you apply it, I guarantee you will see fucking results. Now, I just want to cover something really quickly, and it's how to change your habits for life and see real results. Because I'll be honest, I lost 25 pounds the first time, right? And I put it back on because I didn't focus on one thing, and that was my mindset, right? And I know you're probably thinking, oh, mindset, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I need you to think about this. Like, if you don't change your actual habits, if you don't change who you are, like if you don't change what your actions are and you just go back to your old standard, you're inevitably going to put the weight back on. Literally, even up to 80 to 95% of people put the weight back on after they've lost it, like genuinely, right? And this second time around, I lost it because I did the proper thing and focused on the work. I focused on my mindset. I focused on actually falling in love with the process. Now I'm overseas and keep the weight off, right? I've kept it off, maintaining a physique around 8 to 9 body fat percentage all year, all because I focused on mindset and habits the second time around when I went and competed in a couple bodybuilding shows, right? See, the biggest secret isn't the food. It's changing your mindset to actually want it. To actually want it. It really is you versus you. But like, not why you think. When I say this is because it's you versus your own ego, right? The moment that I realized that it was just a set of experiences that I've been through in my life that shaped me into the shape that I was, the actions that I was taking, I say it's you against your own ego because in your whole life, let's say, for example, you got told you were fat when you were a kid, right? Or you got fed shit food when you were a kid by your parents. Like, those actions are going to make you think that it's okay. And because of all the experiences that you've been through, it's built up an ego to a point where even if you want to change, even if you know you want to get better, like you want to lose the weight, it's really hard to challenge what you've done your whole life mentally, right? It's really hard to go against everything that you've been through mentally. And that's what I had to understand, right? But once you understand that it actually really is you versus you, like it's you versus your own ego, but your ego's only a set of experiences that you went through growing up and right up until now, that should tell you that you can change them. And I've given you exactly how to change them. Literally, I have given you everything, right? But the actual tasks that I want you to go through, I just want to hammer this point down, is that think about every experience that has led you to where you are, what habits you have in your life, what bad negative habits, because I drank, I had all these bad experiences, ate shit food, all these sorts of things growing up, which has shaped me into what I was, but I just changed my habits and my mindset, right? The actual task that I want you to take is find your dream physique, because you saying, oh, I want to lose some weight, it's bullshit. You have to know exactly how much. Figure out what your dream physique is, because if you can actually envision who that person is, then it makes it so much easier, because then you can break down the habits that it actually takes to get there, which is what I've just shown you, right? 4 to 5 times per week, eating the right proper foods, and these are the actions that you need to take. Like I'm balls to the wall serious. And then figure out your why. Like, what is your biggest reason? For me, I knew in the future I want to have a family. I knew that I wasn't looking after my health, and I knew that I wouldn't get the wife that I wanted. I wouldn't get the partner that I wanted, right? There was a lot of other factors as well, like my mum was an alcoholic and I wanted to show her that I could change and she could change as well if I just showed her instead of like telling her, sort of thing. But like, reality is you have to have your why, right? For me, it was family, being better for them. And now it's led to some incredible things like moving overseas alone and some insane confidence, right? But you need to figure out your why, right? Do you hate yourself when you look in the mirror? What is it? What's stopping you? What are the beliefs you have about yourself that are stopping you from changing? And then find someone to hold you accountable and never fucking stop. Never quit. Never give up. Because I promise you, once you understand how to do it with your physique, that's why everyone talks about how good the gym is, good working out is for everything in life. It's because you realize once you can do it in one thing, you can do it in anything. And that's the belief that it builds, literally. I failed college, got done drink driving, and slept on my mother's couch to now living overseas and moving overseas alone, pursuing my biggest goals, pursuing my biggest dreams, because I want to fucking help you feel the exact same way. Literally. This is how to structure your new eating habits, right? So stop waking up and eating. It's the most damaging thing that I used to do. Why? Because your dopamine, right? Think about it like this. If you wake up after being asleep all night, you should be pretty energized, really, because you've just been asleep all night, right? So why are we waking up and eating? Especially if we wake up scrolling our phones. Like something that I used to do and I really try to avoid with like a little morning routine now. But scroll on your phone and then you go eat breakfast, especially if it's like high carbs. Then you get a whole heap of brain fog. But your dopamine, you're setting your level for the day so high already, right? And then especially if you add a coffee on, that's why you get energy crashes. That's why we get energy crashes. Because if we put our dopamine levels so high and then we try to chase that feeling for the rest of the day, that's why if we drop down here, we feel like shit, right? That's why I don't eat until like at least 11 a.m. This is optional, but I don't eat until 2 to 3 p.m. Right? But also doing this means when you go to work out after work, this is going to be your pre-workout meal, or lunchtime if you have lunch at 1 o'clock or whatever, that's going to be fine with the foods that I've shown you in here and I've shown you in here, because I've set them up in a way where you're going to have long-lasting carbs to work for your workouts anyway. Right? But really, really try hard not to wake up and scroll on your phone, not to wake up and eat, and then not to have a coffee like either. If you want to have a coffee, like if you wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning or something, and then just obviously go off your schedule, but wake up and then a couple hours later, then have a coffee. Prolong. It's like intermittent fasting, but I don't really consider it that anymore. And then after that coffee, maybe a couple hours after that, you could have your first meal, or like me, you could wait until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, it's hard, or it definitely is in the beginning. It's pretty easy now. I've done it for 3 months now, but I was here for like 6 months. And then I went to here, and I will probably keep it here. Any later than that, it's probably not that good. But then meal 3 is going to be our highest protein meal, which is going to be straight after our workout, after we get home, after an absolutely killer day. But the thing that's awesome about this is when you understand that you're building these positive habits into your life, you start to see good, high quality foods as a reward. Like I genuinely get excited to eat, right? I genuinely like, because my body has just been working so hard. It's been like fucking I put in the work all day and bang, get to come home, get to eat, get to park up and literally chill out, right? And then I've obviously put in these here for you as well, like how to cook them, different variations, and that's really like it. I can't do the work for you, but you know, if you want one-on-one help and like a diet built specifically around what you want, what you need, then that is absolutely an option as well, and a training program built around specific body parts you want to build. But if you genuinely want accountability, if you want discipline, if you want actual proper training on how the mindset works, on how habits work, on how discipline actually works and how it's actually very simple, that's what I'm building. And I'm building a community on top of that as well, where men who go through this sort of lonely chapter, because this can get lonely, right? When you're wanting to do something different, when you're wanting to build your physique, when you're wanting to change your life as a whole, because that's what it really is. It can get lonely. I want to build a community where we go through the lonely chapter together, right? Because I don't want you to do it alone, but I definitely want you to get in the best shape of your possible life, because it completely changed mine, right? So if you want one-on-one help with me specifically to lose weight, to build better habits, to build your mindset, to become better for those around you, and yourself, to be the difference, to be that guy, read the description.